Welcome to the next session in our ChatGPT masterclass, and it is about tokens in ChatGPT. Now, tokens refers to the individual unit of text that basically the model processes and manipulates. Okay. Now, these tokens are generated by, breaking down the input text into smaller units of meaning, like, some words, some punctuation marks or numbers, etc. Okay. Now, each token represents a specific concept or a piece of information in the input text, and the model uses these tokens to generate the output. So, for example, if we want to generate a response to the prompt, okay, something like, what is your favorite food? Now, in this case, the model can, tokenize the input text as first is, say, what, then, is, then your, then favorite food, and even a question mark. So each thing would be tokenized in this case, right? So each word in the input text is a separate token. Even a question mark at the end in its own token. Okay. So these tokens are then processed by the model to generate some kind of response. So, which is also composed of tokens. So, for instance, let's say the model can generate a response like, say, my favorite food is, let's say, sushi. So over here, if your response is something like this, okay, so in this case, this my then favorite food is sushi and even a dot, this is also considered as a separate token in this case. Okay, so each word in the response is also a separate token. So tokenization is basically a crucial part of the natural language processing pipeline in ChatGPT 3. So it basically allows the model to break down complex text inputs into smaller, more manageable pieces, which can be processed and analyzed more efficiently. So by working with tokens rather than entire piece of text, the model can more easily identify patterns and relationships within the input, which in turn helps it generate more accurate and relevant responses. Okay. Now let's take some examples of tokens in the chat GPT. Okay. So let's say I go back to my chat GPT prompt here and I write a short story about a robot who became self aware. Okay, I'm putting here a question mark. So when you feed this into the chat GPT, it will tokenize into individual units of meaning. So each word, each punctuation mark, even a space between words will be converted into a separate token. Okay, so once the token is generated, and then you can get there the number of tokens, what it is, and then the prompt gets a particular response out of it. So the number of tokens is basically used in a prompt. They can vary depending on the length and the complexity of the input text. Okay, so generally speaking, the longer and the more complex the text, the more tokens will be required to represent it. Okay. To give you an idea of the number of tokens used in a typical prompt, you can tell that the prompt, like I used to generate this response, let's say explain tokens in ChatGPT with examples. Say also how many tokens your prompt uses. Okay. So let's say I write down the same thing here, explain tokens in chat GPT-3 with examples. Also, how many tokens your prompt uses. Okay. So over here, it will give you the required response in this particular case. Okay. And if you just have a look at it, it will also give you That is the number of tokens which are required for it. Okay, so let it complete this particular. See, it gave you over here. It contains 35 tokens, including words, punctuation marks, and spaces. Okay, so that is how we have understood what tokens are. We have tokens while we put it in as a prompt. We get it in back as tokens when we also get a response. It is a to and a fro process. Whatever text you input, it is converted to token. Whatever text is given back to you as response, it is also in the form of tokens in the backend, right? So that's it from the session of tokens, of understanding more on what is tokens in ChatGPT. I'll see you all in the next session. Thank you so much.